Yeah, both Xianyun and Gaming are very flashy. They're very flashy characters. Look at that. Name another character that is able to do that. I won't be doing any polls myself. You know how much I spent, but I really want this game to get better, and I am joining the boycott movement with CM. I do get why. I really do get why. For a lot of us, we've been playing this game for 3 years, and the fact that the rewards for anniversary events or Lantern Rite events haven't changed that much in the past 3 years. Okay, 1 year, sure, I can forgive it. It is a brand new game. Second year, okay, I guess like it's fine. Third year, okay. Now you're just considering how successful Genshin is. Now you're just being a little stingy. Like now it's getting a little too ridiculous. So that it's just I don't know. Like it something smells. I do understand why people are so mad. Why people are mad at Hoyoverse for not giving enough rewards for players, especially for those who have supported this game for 3 years, myself included. Content creators have asked for years for things just to be ignored, like artifact slots and endgame. That is true, but you also have to understand as well. I also did make a video on that, just regarding the anniversary. Well, not the anniversary controversy, but it's more like made a video on the end game controversy specifically. Because on the one hand, I do get where they're coming from, because it's been 3 years, and aside from the Abyss, there's not that many places where we could go and show off our characters, whether it's for free-to-play purposes, just showing off like what one could do when we have built characters like these, or C6R5 characters that we've invested money into, and we want to have an outlet where we can show that shit off that isn't the Abyss. And it is very annoying. It's very annoying that there's no outlet like that in Genshin. Yes, there are events that do help out with that, like the Labyrinth Warriors event, and then the various combat related events that we've had in Inazuma and recently in Fontaine. But at the same time, I don't think that's what the developers want. It just so happens that the fixation of whether it's about meta or if it's trying to show off a combat related gameplay is just on the hands of the user. I feel like they should be weighing the people who support the game way more than the average player. I don't need Hoyo to give me anything I can buy with whatever I want. That is also true. It is an interesting conversation to delve into regarding what should Hoyoverse focus on. It isn't just about meta players. It's not just about the hardcore players. It's also about it's all about offering more options to what the players should receive. Will the casual audience feed upon it? No, not really. They probably wouldn't. In fact, do you even see how many people even participate in the Abyss to begin with? I'll even show you a video that I made a while back that does reference that. So here, let me give you a video here. Just give me 1 minute. This was uploaded back in October 28th, 2022. The ones that want endgame content in the first place are major content creators and hardcore players. Do you know who wouldn't care all that much about endgame? Hoyoverse's biggest player base. It's the casual audience. From a business point of view, it doesn't make sense to create content for a fraction of a percentage of a player base when it's far more worthwhile creating content that a majority would enjoy. I'm not saying that everyone asked for a permanent trading card game mode, but what I am saying is that it makes sense from a business perspective to create content that a majority would enjoy. But why is the casual market so important compared to someone who invested thousands of dollars or a content creator with a massive platform? Well, just because the voice is louder than most, it doesn't mean it holds that much weight compared to the masses. Even if one of the biggest Genshin YouTubers were to create a poll based on Spiral Abyss engagement, we're still looking at a fraction of a fraction based on how many players are actively playing in a given month. That's not a number to scoff at. That's still a big-ass player base over the past 30 friggin' days at the time. And when you consider that there's still players that are actively playing this game, and when you consider the amount of revenue that Genshin has generated, whether it's from whales or from the casual audience, this is a mobile game first and foremost. It's not a PC game first. It's not a PS5 game first. It's not a PlayStation game first. It's a mobile first game. You have to develop a game that would be appealing to the casual audience while generating as much revenue as possible. And Genshin just so happens to have that formula up and running when it first came out back in 2020. Just look at how much CC spends on wishing content versus the average player. They're the ones who market it and spend money. Yes! And here's the thing, I do also agree. This game can be awesome. It can be better than what we have right now. They can do this. But will they do it? Because it isn't necessarily the player's game. It's the developer's game. If you do the boycott, I do understand why. It's not like I'm stupid. I know why. I know why people are doing it. And to be fair, regarding look at how much a CC spend on wishing content. That's on the CCs, not that's on the content creators, bro. If they really didn't want to support the game as much as they did, they should have just stopped making content. Period. That's basically the best way to hurt them. Giving them more exposure, whether for positive reasons or negative reasons, it's still giving marketing, free marketing for Genshin, regardless of how you put it. I want to know what the average player spend. Definitely not as much compared to CCs. I will give you that. I don't think there's any reliable statistic out there where we could analyze and understand where most of the money is coming from, whether it's from CCs or the average player. I think it's safe to say that the average player can't even come close. If we were to pull together 10,000 people and 9,000 of them were the average player, and then the rest are just CCs and whales, if you were to combine how much they spent and multiply it by 5, it would still pale in comparison compared to how much the average content creator or average whale would regularly spend. That is a scary thought if you really think about it. But let's also look at the hardcore gamer. I consider myself to be hardcore. What would constitute a hardcore gamer though? A hardcore Genshin player? Is it the amount of money or the amount of time spent on said game? Because I could easily call myself a hardcore player, and even though I haven't spent as much money compared to the average whale, I have spent a lot of time just doing as much in the game as possible, whether it's in the form of participating in events, doing daily. So would Hoyoverse even consider hardcore gamers as whales or hardcore gamers as people who put in the time? Because if that's the case, then if you really think about it, what would people consider as the casual fan base would be the most hardcore because of player retention, because of amount of people that are tuning in to the game in succession. Because by that point, the definition of a hardcore gamer would be muddied by through a hell. Just think about this scenario then. We currently have no endgame, no way to show up power, no reason to buy new characters. I mean, this is a reason. This is also a reason. This is also a reason. Same thing with this, and that, and this, and that, and that. Reasons to get a character doesn't necessarily have to be, doesn't necessarily have to do with power. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the amount of time one should grind a game. It could just be as something as superfluous as this character looks cute. She looks like a badass. It's that ass. God damn, look at that six-pack. It could just be as superfluous as that. I see your argument, but isn't Genshin trying to do a little bit of everything? Exactly. The point that I was trying to make regarding that card game is the fact that Genshin, at this point in time, isn't necessarily just a action RPG. It's also a bunch of other things as well. I refuse to believe that everyone asked for a fishing minigame to begin with, but people eat it up anyway. Because at this point in time, Genshin isn't just a action RPG. It is a live service. It's basically trying to do what Fortnite did back in 2017, 2018. Trying to be a little bit of everything. The whole Fortnite argument is more relevant now than it ever has been before. Because back when the game first came out, it was nothing more than just a battle royale. What is Fortnite right now? It's a racing game. It's a fishing game. It's a creative game. It's basically a Minecraft sort of game. It's a rhythm game. It's a whole lot of things that would appeal to the casual audience. Genshin right now is trying to do, while being relevant to the game itself, is also trying out other things as well. It's also trying out fishing. It's also trying out home decoration, a la Animal Crossing. It's also doing a whole bunch of other things that 9 times out of 10 people did not even ask for. Tell me why having the Abyss have an endless mode be a bad thing for Hoyo. If some players as of right now don't even attempt the Abyss, well, there you go. People don't even bother attempting the Abyss. Why would Hoyo even bother to do any more combat-related experiences? They have the statistics. Now, with that said, whether or not they would be reasonable to offer a combat-related mode, that's beyond me. I'm just a consumer, not a developer. As sad as it sounds, I'm just a consumer. I'm honestly no different compared to everyone else who divulges in the game, whether it's the average player or the hardcore CCs. Because in the end of the day, we consume. And it's that mindset where I do agree with people boycotting Genshin. And will it be successful? It hasn't worked the first time. Hasn't worked the other time. Hasn't worked before. What do you expect any different for now? It's depressing, really. It's depressing. I remember when the first anniversary event happened and that controversy happened, the most they've ever done, I remember they offered a package for free that was originally supposed to be paid content. That's the most that they've done in terms of rewarding players. The first time they ever had any backlash, someone did a death threat. And if I remember correctly, the last time that Genshin ever did any changes that reflect on the community itself was Yaimiko back in 2.5. I don't remember the full details on Yaimiko, but apparently the changes made in the beta compared to the final release was pretty bad. Beta testers who voiced their concerns and opinions regarding Yaimiko's auto-targeting was off, so they suggested, well, why don't you just do this instead? And that ended up being worse for everyone involved, and because of that, everyone else complained about it, and Hoyoverse just reverted back to the old targeting system instead. They listened to the players, and that actually fucked over a character from earlier. Sorry for the language, but it's just that they really screwed the pooch with Yaimiko beforehand with the updated targeting system, and they had to revert back to the old one because while it wasn't preferable, it was better compared to what Yaimiko had before, and that was the last time that Hoyoverse even listened to Genshin players. Since then, there hasn't been that much. There hasn't been that much in the way of immediate changes, or at least in the sense, or at least some that are even as big compared to back then. For all the praise that I do give this game, there are definitely some clear signs there are some clear issues that need to be addressed, and it's less to do with the rewards that we are given, whether it's in the anniversary event or the Lantern Rite or anything like that. Because at this point in time, I don't really care about the rewards at all. Like, I really do not. It would be nice, but as a BP Welkin player, as someone who also put in some money just to because I figured, you know what, at that point, it is a free-to-play game. I may as well just reward them at some point, because I do feel that compared to a lot of other games that I have played in the past, this is the one game where I have invested so much goddamn time. In fact, if I remember correctly, I don't think I've ever invested this much in a game in terms of time compared to when I first played Elder Scrolls Skyrim, when I played Overwatch 1, when I played Fate Grand Order. I don't think it's going to reach the playtime that I've ever invested in this game. That is not an easy thing to do at all. The fact that I even played this game for like 3 years going on 4 says a lot about how much I love this game. And I want to see it improve. I really do. I really want to see this game to be better than it has been before. Here's the thing though. I said this before. And the last time I said that before was back in my Genshin Impact 1 year later video in March 7th of 2022. It's been 2 years since I uploaded that video. I do appreciate everything that Genshin has offered in terms of content, but it's very clear to me that something needs to change. It is very clear that something does need to change, whether in the form of offering new content, more permanent content. I should probably specify at least something, just to give not just casual audience, not just the casual audience, but also the hardcore audience about what they want in a game like this. But knowing Hoyoverse, knowing what they're doing with this game, I don't see it happening. I don't. Considering that it's been 3 years that we haven't had that much of a, well, the hardcore community specifically haven't gotten what they wanted. It's a bit of a slap in the face. Just look at what Star Rail has. They have replayable events. What I would give to experience Albedo's quest. Not just Albedo's quest, but also a chance at getting any of the limited time weapons that they had available at the time. Don't get me started with the summer events. Like those were, the summertime events were very good as well. Yeah, so those were also fun as well. It could just be a cutscene viewer for all I care. It doesn't necessarily have to be just the gameplay of those summertime events. Just give people something to look back at the cutscenes in real time. It is absolutely idiotic that we haven't had something like that. I was thinking that, oh, you know, maybe with the introduction of 4.0 or whatever, we would have some kind of theater to go into, a physical theater, just to go and check out some past cutscenes that we have witnessed in game. Like maybe something like that could be cool, but no, we ended up not getting that. It would have been a cool idea to do that, and it would remain in. It would remain in canon to the game as well. But no, just no. Go. You want to go look at cutscenes in Genshin? Just go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube, you loser. We are definitely the loud minority in this case. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. For as many views that that Genshin gets on YouTube videos, on Reddit posts, on Twitter posts, on any other social media, that is still a fraction of a fraction compared to how many people would consume would actually have the opportunity to play this game. Y'all realize that, right? So no matter how much we beg, we shout, we scream, we cry, we're not getting what we want because we are that much in the minority. As much as most of us do not want to admit it, as much as we don't want to believe in what I say, that's just the reality of the situation that we're living in. No matter how vocal we are, I don't think Hoyoverse is going to even hear a peep of what we would say compared to the casual audience. I am not saying that the casual audience is at fault here. In fact, if anything, it's the reason why the game is even popular to begin with. You know, it's funny that we're just talking about like about casual audience and hardcore audience or anything like that. And there is another game that came out just recently that I have a little bit of interest in, just a little bit, not a whole lot. I have heard of the controversy here and there regarding said game, and yet, for some godforsaken reason, it is still getting popular each and every single day. It is insane that this particular game has gotten such a huge audience. Even with the controversies surrounding this game, nobody cares. No, absolutely nobody cares about any form of controversy about this game. Because you want to know why? Because everyone else is playing it. Nobody cares about what the hardcore audience has to say regarding that, because the casual players are just too damn busy consuming what needs to be consumed. Could it be a phase? Yeah, maybe. It could be a phase. It was our fault for just playing the game. For playing it. For consuming media. For participating in social media. For content creators. We're all at fault here. If you want to be technical, yeah, it's technically our fault because we let it happen. I guess the average player doesn't even know what a CC is. If you were to say to the average person, oh, you know, this little content creator that I know, I follow this guy. What the hell's a content creator? Who the hell is Tectone? Slice? A slice of pizza? The average player does not even know what a CC is, bro. They probably just go in, do their dailies, and then dip out. And until they see a character that visually looks really good, a character that would appeal to them in some way or another, whether it's as broad as just their character personalities, as their character design, or probably something a little more specific, a little more niche, like this character voiced in that one work I recognize, or perhaps I recognize the art style. It looks it really appeals to me in some way. I played Pokemon before. I recognize this art style. I know what I said. It's just an example. You'd be surprised by what the average player would say. I'll just spend money on Star Rail because then Genshin ain't it. I'll keep playing Genshin, but no longer funding. Well, have I got a lore bomb for you? Me not supporting one game just to support another game only for the same company to win. Funny thing is, I did make a choice of quitting Genshin, so I can be proud of making a stand of my beef against Genshin by not continuing to play the game, only to return playing it. Yeah, that's a sunk cost fallacy for you. Whether it's in the form of a time spent or money spent, that's the sunk cost fallacy for you. I also made this comment similarly when I made said video on my 1 year later video, saying that if you want to support this game, go and do it. If you don't, then don't. Personally speaking, I don't care about what you do with your time, effort, or money. If you're happy playing the game, that's all that matters. If you're not, I would say have your voices be heard, but at the same time, I don't know if the developers even care all that much. It's worth trying. The only important thing that you should prioritize is your satisfaction. Here, I know this is going to be a bit of a tangent, but there's a very good reason for this. There's a very good reason why I'm going on this like little tangent here. So here's the thing. I said back in the day, I really loved playing Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I really loved that game when it was brand new. When it was brand new, not the various re-releases that happened after. I'm talking about, oh god, Xbox 360, Skyrim. This is my original copy from when it was brand new. I invested so much time in that game, and I felt that everything that I played, it was absolutely worth the time and money. It was absolutely worth it. I loved it. I invested 200 hours in this game, and I had 2 save files, and both of them amounted to about 200 or so. That's how much I loved Skyrim. There's plenty of other games that I have played so much, like over the years, whether it's in the form of new experiences that I still get each and every single day in the form of, let's say, Pal World, or just recently, I also played a Metal Gear Solid as well. First time I ever played the game. I've already heard of the series even before then. Played Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 on stream. It's the first time I ever played Metal Gear Solid, and I absolutely loved the hell out of it. I don't care if it was in a inferior compilation. I care about my satisfaction. And personally speaking, I loved it. I absolutely loved Metal Gear Solid. There's a whole lot of games that I have played in the past, whether in the form of new experiences or old experiences, games that I have played in my childhood, games that I have played in the past 10 years, games that I have played nowadays. I have like intimate experiences with a whole bunch of games. I'm one of the crazy people that actually, unironically, loves Final Fantasy 13. I love this game, and I really love it. And not just this game. It's not just this game. It's also Final Fantasy 13 2. Even with all of its problems, I love that game. Lightning Returns, best in the series. The best in the series, in my personal opinion. Now, granted, there are some issues regarding that game in terms of visuals and maybe a little bit of story, but in terms of gameplay, in terms of other elements, it's the best one. It's just the best one in the series. For me at least, there's no debate on that one. There are also a bunch of other games that I have played. Some that were critically acclaimed, some that were good for the money, the best value for the money, like Witcher 3 or Fallout. And yet, for some godforsaken reason, I played some of those games. I did. I gave it a shot. Didn't end up liking it. I did not end up liking The Witcher 3. I did not end up liking some of the Fallout games here and there. I know for a fact that they are the best in their respective genres. I didn't enjoy it as much compared to some of the more better games out there, in my personal opinion. In fact, I would rather play Fable 3 over The Witcher 3. Sacrilegious, I know, but it's like, I had more fun in Fable 3 than I did with The Witcher 3. Shoot me. Look, if you really love The Witcher 3 and you're hearing nothing but heresy and you're mad over my opinion, sorry. I can't help what I love. I really cannot. And the same thing goes with Genshin. Sometimes you just can't help but love what you play and all that. And hey, if you love Honkai Star Rail, more power to you. Do what you want. Whether it's in the form of investing as much money or playing as much as you want. If you love it, can't help it, right? The only thing that I don't want people to do is make death threats. It's shit on other people's opinions. It's that kind of thing that gets me a little worked up and all that. I have very little respect or patience for those who would just shit on people just for the hell of it, just for liking a game that they really love. Personally speaking, do what you want to do. If you love playing a Genshin, if you love playing Honkai, just do it, man. You straight up changing my mind on the game, bro? Come on, I don't have that much power. Come on now. Do I really have that much power? I don't think I do, bro. Long story short, if you can't help but be happy about certain experiences that you've had in terms of time invested, money invested, whatever, then I'd say the game did a pretty good job at entertaining you. If you just can't help but love what you've experienced, then it was never a waste of time. It was never a waste of money. Never was. Never has. And probably never will be.